I was just interviewed by Keith Andrews. I like what you're doing. Keep up the good work. I look forward to part two. And thank you again, man. I really appreciate it. And I like what you're doing. Keep it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the KeithAndrewNetWork. This is episode 620. I'm here as professional actor and professional voiceover actor, Mr. Harris. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Man, it's awesome to be here with you, Keith. I like what you're doing, man.
No, the honor's all mine. Now, for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. And to prove to them you can still amount to something. So hashtag break the labels. So that being said, a half hour, 32 minutes every time. You can say anything you want, talk about whatever you want, freedom of speech, self-expression. It is PG-13, so no F words. But if you do, that's completely on you. You have freedom of speech, and let's just jump right into it.
Okay.
So the,
Um,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
So the very first thing, I know we're talking about wrestling off the air, but we can definitely talk about that if you're passionate about it. But what caught my interest is you're a professional actor and you're a professional voiceover actor as well. So you're an actor in both areas, as in acting and doing voiceovers. So the first thing I want to ask you is, who influenced you to start your acting career and voiceover career, and what were some of your favorite moments?
Well, my parents got me involved in acting at an early age because I had ADD. So it was difficult for me to stay focused, particularly in school. And so they got me involved in martial arts, but they got me involved in acting. My parents, would see how a lot of times I would watch different shows and I would act out, certain characters and things like that. So they decided, let's put them into some theater, give them an opportunity to portray characters. And so basically, I started around 6 years old. My parents got me involved. It wasn't something that was consistent throughout my childhood. I did do theater in high school, but I really didn't do it in middle school. But it was just something that was always there.
No, absolutely. But what was that very, don't mind me, when I don't do my interviews as a way, my disability shows more. And I can relate to having ADD. I have ADD, ADHD, I have awkward social skills, poor social skills. So doing the talk show, it's pretty much therapy for myself for 6.5 years. It's just helping me be a better person, and it helps me interact with everyone. So I can definitely relate to you.
Yeah. And it probably, and because you do this, it probably helps balance other areas in your life out. It's an outlet for you.
No, absolutely. And the question I was going to ask you is, what was that very first moment? He said, it doesn't matter if it was Looney Tunes, it doesn't matter if you were watching Eddie Murphy. What was that very first thing that just, I can't snap my fingers, but just said, you know what, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life? And you you mentioned that your parents put you in theater, and you used to reenact the favorite characters that you used to see on TV. So what characters did you use to interact, and what actually got you feeling like this is what you want to do?
That's a tough one because my there are different things, I guess, that influenced me. For one, and it's kind of funny. I'm not the greatest dancer in the world, but I was into break dancing, and one of my favorite movies was Breaking. I would watch Breaking One, Breaking Two, Electric Boogaloo like religiously. Um, and I would try to act out some of the stuff that was in that movie, like not just the dancing parts, but I thought some of the stuff with Shabba-Doo was just awesome. So I would try to be like Shabba-Doo. And I think probably probably that was when I was like, I think I want to venture into acting. But the thing is, I really couldn't dance. I could do some things, but I couldn't do what they did. So I would say probably when I was watching Breaking One and Two early on, and I would say Beat Street too, just because Beat Street it was more dramatic. It was a lot more of it was a lot more serious, whereas Breaking One and Two was more entertainment. Beat Street had more of a serious story to it. So I would say both of those.
Well,
Oh, and Commando, love Commando.
well, if it makes you feel better, I can't dance, so. But then the next question I was going to ask you, when you were on the stage doing theater, what were some of your favorite comedy skits, or did you do comedy skits, or was it just a
No,
reenacting?
um, I didn't do any comedy, and the funny thing is, I'm actually a funny dude, but just comedy really isn't really what I do. I have to be in the situation in order for me to really be comedic. Um, but I would say I did King George in elementary. Um, that was really fun. That was really fun. I actually got to be one of the soldiers in it, and I got to haul off a prisoner. So that was pretty fun.
No, absolutely. For people who want to go to your work, and I'm sorry, it's Elias, right?
Eli. Yeah.
Eli. I keep getting you confused with the wrestler Elias. But, big difference. But, let's call you Mr. Harris, make it easier. Keep it more formal. So, like, if you want to see Mr. Harris's work, you can go to the links under the description, under the video, and you do video voiceovers. I saw one of them where you were actually doing one for the Army, and someone told you a little more grit. So I'm going to ask you is what does that mean when someone say, hey, okay, you're doing a comedy sketch, you're doing a voiceover, and someone says, for an example, Chihuahua and Gabriel Iglesias, and he said, oh, can you put a little more spice on it? And then I watched your videos, like, can you put a little more grit on it? So what's those two different lingos? What does that actually mean for being a voiceover actor?
Okay, so you're probably referring to the one game that I did, the video game that I did, where I posted a session with the client and myself, which I can't announce the game yet just because it hasn't released.
Right.
So I'm bound a non-disclosure. Um, More grit is he wanted me to be more. The client wanted me to be more gruff, like put more of this into it, for them to feel that grit and intensity in it. Spice is, to me, my interpretation of spice tends to be a bit softer. Make it a little bit more spicier. You know, so it's to me, being spicier is the opposite of grit. Spicier is more fun. Live a little. Put a little spice on it. Whereas grit is like I'm trying to get into you. So those are the differences between the two. And oftentimes, the way the client conveys things to you, sometimes they'll say something and it could be a little bit different than the verbiage that they use. So it's our job to interpret what they say the best of our ability, and then they help steer us to where they really want us to go with it.
No, I agree. And it's funny you should mention how to steer someone in the right direction, how they want to go. For me, if I don't know anything, and that's a lot of things, I could write a book about that things I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
I asked someone for, can you give me an example? So I can turn, I don't know, you're doing a pilot for the voiceover, and you're in the army, and you're being a drill instructor. And I'm like, well, can you give me an example? So for me, when I ask someone, can you give me an example, it kind of breaks it down and kind of makes it a little more point blank.
Right, right. Just like I had an audition yesterday, as a matter of fact, and they asked me to be commanding. Well, commanding can mean different things. Um, do you want me to be more authoritative? Or commanding when I'm just taking charge of the situation. And that doesn't necessarily mean being louder or more aggressive, but it's speaking with confidence, you know. So I would look at, like, say, if it was President Obama versus, I don't know, Ronald Reagan. Both of them to me were commanding, but the tenor of how they said things were different, you know. So they still could command your attention when they speak, you listen, but the tone was different. You get what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. Now, the next
So,
question I want to ask you is what were some of your favorite voiceover roles that you ever did, and what is next for you?
um, I would say one that I did recently, which I had posted up, Pitch Black, which is a new game that's coming out, I believe, the first quarter of next year. The interesting thing about Pitch Black, and the reason why I was so stoked to do it, is because it's it's geared towards people with visual impairments, um, and uh, there's not a lot of games that goes towards people who have impairments or any type of handicap. So I thought it was a real interesting game. So the cool thing about this is I got to voice four different characters. And one of the characters I got to do was Old Man Carruthers. I haven't voiced an elderly person before. So it was really interesting doing that one. So I would say to date, I mean, all of them, all the projects I've done thus far, I love. The ones that I'm working on now, I enjoy. But being able to be an elderly person, that's pretty dope.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you, and like I said, that's when I don't talk to someone as a way, and when I first meet someone, their name completely, it's like I hear the name, then I start doing my routine. I'm like, ah, shit, what was the name again? And then, so I
Yeah.
do apologize, no disrespect. But
Okay.
with that being said, for anyone who wants to follow, I keep calling Elias because I keep the beard's throwing me off. But anyone who
Do I look
wants,
I look like a prophet to you?
I'm sorry,
I look like a prophet.
a little bit. But anyone
A
who
little
wants to
bit.
follow, it's Eli, right?
Yes.
All right. Anyone
Yeah.
who wants to follow Eli, you're on, and that goes to my next segue. Social media. You're on YouTube. You're on Facebook and Instagram. All these great things. So don't worry.
Hmm.
All those descriptions will be on the bottom when we do the second half of the episode. Your Instagram name will be on the bottom of the screen, so don't worry about that. So people can
Okay.
follow you. But while on the subject of social media, can it make you or break you with everything that you accomplish in your life? From the very beginning up to now, do you think Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, do those sites help you, or do you think it kind of holds you back?
That is kind of like a double-edged question because it really depends what it is that you're trying to do in it. Um, Depending on the genre of voice acting that you're trying to do, it works. For some, maybe not as much. I find, like, doing video games, animation, things of that genre. Twitter's pretty good for that. Instagram has been pretty good for me with that, but it may not work if you're trying to do e-learning. You might want to do LinkedIn if you're doing e-learning. To me, it really does depend. On my social media, all of my social medias, the only thing you'll see is business. There's nothing about my family. You're not going to see my wife, my kids. You're not going to see anything because I keep everything professional in business. So in that sense, it works. Because when the client comes to my page and they see my page, they know that they're not going to see a whole bunch of family reunions and stuff like that. They're going to see me in the booth. They're going to see footage of some projects that I've worked on, or actors that I've acted with. So everything is professional. So I think if you're using it that way, it works. I don't get into a bunch of politics with people. I don't get into religion. I keep everything professional. So if you do that, it can work for you. I think if you're one of those people where, and don't get it wrong, I'm an outspoken person too. I just know how to do it without it infringing upon my business. But I think if you're constantly putting people on blast, if you're constantly, being derogatory towards others, or, doing things that draws negative attention to you, then it's going to be detrimental to you, because clients and peers will see that and say, I can't work with someone that has drama going on, or, and it's not so much as being outspoken, it's the drama and things that bring to you that could be negative. So I don't want it to come across like, oh, well, you can't speak your mind, or you can't, have your own opinion and thoughts on things. You can. There's just a manner in which you can do it to where it won't hurt your business. You see what I'm saying? I personally don't like social media. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like it. I don't like having to be on Twitter all the time. That's just not what I like to do. I'm more of a person where I like to work, and sitting here on Twitter responding and liking stuff, it's not the thing that I like to do. I'm more of a personal person. Facebook, I don't mind as much. Instagram, I actually like that, just because it's not so bang, 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 bang with everything.
No, I agree with you. And if you're interested, maybe we can get lunch or something.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. When I don't do my episodes, and I say this to my dad all the time, when I don't do my episodes or do interviews, I like working. I have ADD. I need to be doing something. Because, exactly. you can use Facebook and Instagram and all that. Yeah. And a couple hours go by, or if you actually do it really fast, and you're kind of, what am I going to do for the rest of the day? So I need to be stimulated. I have to get off your ass and actually, exercise, come up with ideas, socialize. But if you're just one of those people that's like, like that, I can't do that.
Well, and the other issue to me is that while I think that social media can be helpful with some things, like it can get you to connect you directly to certain people that can make decisions, or that can refer you or whatever. It also lends a voice to people who are negative. People who that are trolls, or, people who want to be negative and try to tear other people down. So that's why, to me, I think it's a bit of a double-edged type deal. It's a tool to me that can be used to benefit one's career and help elevate others, but it can also be a tool that tears you and others down. So again, it's all about what you want it for. I think like what you're doing is awesome for social media, because there are a lot of people who have a disability and don't come out and talk about it, or don't say anything because maybe they're afraid that they're going to be ostracized or made fun of or whatever. So, I look at like what you're doing, and it takes a lot of courage to host a show where you're talking to different people while also highlighting the things that you struggle with and things that you've been working with in your life. So in that sense, I think it's a great tool, because you're being a voice for a lot of those who may not feel comfortable coming out or talking about their struggles. And the same thing with me. A lot of people may not have known that I was ADD, but, I am. It's just that being on this earth for 42 years, you learn how to cope and you learn how to deal with it. You learn how to work within certain parameters to where it doesn't affect your day-to-day life the way that it used to. So me staying active, for instance, with my kids, because, we're all martial artists, play basketball, football, I'm always want to go doing sports and activities with them, so that keeps me active, but it also helps balance out the rest of my life to where I'm not a cranky ass all the time, or moody. So.
No, I agree with you. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to pass the show over to you, but I do want to ask you one more question, or hard-hitting subject.
Hi, I'm Marissa Joy Davis.
This is Michelle Wong.
And I'm Nancy Rose.
My name is Brandy Hunt. And
hello, my name is Raven Wynn.
Hi there, my name is Giovanna Vidal.
Hi, I'm Monica Thomas.
Hi, I'm Paisley Blackburn.
I'm Ashley Burgess.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Abney.
Hi, I'm Sharon Spank.
Hey, this is Samantha Moore.
Hi, I'm Melody Jones.
Hi, my name is Becky Yee.
Hi, you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the KeithAndrewNetWork. I'm here with Eli Harris, the one and only Eli Harris. Now, it's the last 13 minutes and counting. I'm going to pass the show over to you, but the last thing I do want to talk to you about is stereotyping. And everyone can take that any way they want, but I'm going to give you a perfect example. Because I have a disability, people always think I'm going to have people with disabilities on my show. But that's not the case. I'm showing you hashtag break the labels. Look at what I'm able to accomplish. With everything you accomplish, from being an actor, from doing theater, from doing voiceovers, and all these great things that you have in the works, have you ever been just stereotyped? And I'll give you an example. People think, I'm white and nerdy. If they're like, you can be a tech guy. Alright, I guess I can do that, but I don't want to be that. Or you could be a science guy. Well, I do like science fiction, but there's always something, because I have a disability. People are like, we need to treat you a little different. Well, what do you mean a little different? I do like special treatment. But it's kind of like you don't want to put yourself in a bubble and have people label you. So it's everything you accomplish. And this is a touchy subject, I do apologize. But I want your honest opinion on stereotyping.
Yeah, I mean, it happens in my field quite frequently. One would look at me and think, he's this big tough guy, may have a thuggish or whatever appearance, their view, not knowing that, I'm a college grad. I can articulate myself very well when I need to, I've played characters like a detective before, so I play the polar opposite of how people see me. I don't always have to have a deep voice. I do have range, which is one of the things that landed me the agents that I have when they heard my demos is, okay, this guy doesn't just have that deep voice where he can go down like this. One may look at me and say, man, this guy, I know he loves hip hop. I like hip hop, but people don't know that I listen to Strauss. People don't know I listen to Bach. They don't know that I like Clearwater Revival, that I like the Doobie Brothers. So there's a wide range of things that I like, but one would not be able to tell by looking at me. That's why it's important to get to know people, because you never know who you're talking and who you're entertaining.
No, I agree with you. I didn't mean any disrespect.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I get exactly what you're saying, because somebody could look at you and say, this dude might be a geeky dude. Who knows? You might be a third-degree black belt and whoop everybody's ass. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I learned a long time ago, you can't just look at a person and say, they're that or they're this, because you don't know until you talk to them. It's funny because a lot of kids today, and I was talking with one of my buddies about this earlier, when I was coming up, if you were into anime, into video games, comics, you were a nerd. You were considered a nerd or whatever. So it would be like a small group of us that would meet at the library before our classes in high school. And we would have our little EGM and Game Pro magazines. And, our little Marvel comics, it would be Marvel versus DC. We would have like a whole round table discussion. That wasn't cool then. But now it's like everybody's into it. So when I hear these young people talk about it, like, man, we've been doing that stuff. It's just, it wasn't cool back then, to do it. But looking at us, you wouldn't have been able to tell.
No, I agree with you. Look at the audio-visual. I was a big fan of that. And people who did talk shows and radio shows. Back in, I was thinking, you said 42, I'm 31. So there's only like a 9-year difference. We're in the same boat. I was born in 1988.
Okay.
So I guess you were born in 1979? 7?
Close. Almost.
6?
1 year. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, like I said, we're close in age.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot of a gap between the things that we've experienced, especially compared to how things are now. It's just, worlds different. Seeing how things are now as opposed to how it was then.
No,
And you know what?
absolutely.
And the more I think about it, and to bring up the social media aspect that you brought up earlier, I think that a lot of people our age vicariously live through this stuff because we didn't have it when we were coming up. So, there's a lot of people that are our age that are acting like they're in their teens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where also social media can become a problem because it costs people their jobs, it costs them their families, their wives. It costs them a lot of stuff because they're not responsible with it.
No, I agree. And I give me an example. There's a lot of people, I try to be like a mentor. I'm kind of like a motivational speaker. So I reach out to people in high school and college, and some of them it seem to be coherent and say, "Oh, we think that what you're doing is really great." Or there's other people that tell me to f off. It's like, "Oh, I don't want to talk to an old guy like you. Yeah, you're a perv. Oh, why are you even messaging me with this?" So you can see, I don't know, it's like 18 up where you start to get a little more adulthood, but then you go 18 and back, you have people that are just inconsiderate, and then social media, they can make idle threats to you. They're like, "Oh, I'm behind the computer screen, I get to do whatever I want." But you want to be telling someone to their face, and, telling them off.
Well, a lot of people, from my view, are cowards.
Yeah,
Half of
sure.
the stuff I see getting typed and written, I know they wouldn't say it to me in my face. I know they wouldn't. I actually made a post today on Instagram because there are people who will create these anonymous accounts with pseudonym names, and they'll go on people's profiles and just trash their work, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, that's really freaking spineless. That's cowardly. Because for me, anything I type out there, you're gonna know I did it. If I'm going to say something to somebody, I want you to know that I said it. I'm not gonna hide behind anything. And anybody can get at me anytime they want to. But a lot of these people, they'll sit here behind and be keyboard warriors, won't even show their face, no picture, no nothing, just type all kinds of garbage. Those things don't really get to me, but it's just one of those unnecessary aggravations that it's like, yo, it's not what this is for. You know what I'm saying? Like, use this as a tool to benefit, to be a benefit to you, to other people, to help encourage other people. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It just seems like now we're in this era where because we have social media and the internet, that people think they can say and do things and without any type of consequence behind it, and
And
because
that's
they
the
know,
problem.
okay, yeah, and that's exactly the problem. Because a lot of times they know, okay, if this person can see my face, chances are they're gonna find out who I am, et cetera, et cetera. So it's given it to me. It's given the window to a lot of people to be more cowardly. Some people use it to better themselves, to build their career, and to be an encouragement to others. And others use it basically just to be punks, cowardly punks.
Well, I agree with you 100%. There's other people that you can work in the workplace, where people would actually, talk shit about you. And then as soon as I give me an example. I won't mention where I work, but we have a TV, and I put my episode on because I want to get more exposure. And the people are like, one of them ran out of the room, said something, and then they're like, "Yeah, the management said something about your show's degrading," or it wasn't soliciting because we're all on break and we're watching TV. And the management supposedly said something like, "I take offense to that because my talk show is important to me." What did they say? "Oh, well, we're not at liberty to tell you what they said." And I bit my lip. I'm like, bullshit. So, there's people that, talk big and bad. It's like saying, "Oh, I'm going to type on my imaginary keyboard. Keith's an asshole. Oh, Keith's right there. Oh, hey, buddy, how you doing?" But yet the same person can do the complete opposite.
So, or you either have that, or you have people who are always trying to knock somebody else's hustle. Like take for instance what it is that you're doing. Okay, it might not be what other people are doing or may want to do, but to me, it takes courage to do it. Just like with me, any other voice artist, we put ourselves out there for people to hear us. If you have constructive criticism, I get that. If there's some things that that needs to be worked on, I get that. Even professionals, they're constantly getting vocal training. They're always getting trained. They're always improving their vocals because it's a craft that needs consistent practice. So you're not going to get everything right. But when you go out here and you try to tear people down, to me that says there's something wrong inside of you. Something in your soul, something inside of you is bothered to where you have to project how you feel onto other people. There are certain, voice artists and actors and people that I've worked with that I don't particularly care for. There's some people that I don't like, but I don't make it my mission to tear them down either. If it's someone that I don't particularly care for or deal with alike, I just won't deal with them. I just won't look at their content or whatever. There's no need for me to go out here and say nasty things or, go out and try to sabotage or talk a lot of trash about them. That's just not what I do. And I think anyone that does that has some serious soul searching to do because something inside of you is wrong. You might not like my voice or you might not like, the characters I portray, but somebody does because I'm getting paid for it. If what I did wasn't needed, I wouldn't get paid to do what I do. My style of acting might not be your taste, but somebody likes it because I get paid to do it. Your form that you do, your format for your show that you do, someone might not like that, but you're doing something that helps other people that's in your situation. If you don't like it, just don't watch it. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's making you listen to this, or no one's making you watch this. You choose to do it. It's a choice that you make. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. And I didn't mean to interrupt. I do apologize. And I there's people who I interviewed. I'm passing the show over you with the last 2 minutes with this. People who I interviewed, we can do a great episode. 2-3 years later, my agent said he didn't like the video quality. We don't want to be seen as people like you. You ask a lot of stupid questions. I'm getting death threats. You're hurting my career. Blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. Take it down. We're going to sue you. And why did we do the episode in the first place? Just because this is not giving you extra money or this is not giving you that extra exposure or charity crutch or whatever the hell you want to call it, then it's kind of like, oh, well, for you, it's a waste of time. But for me, this is everything.
And for me, anytime someone asks me to do interviews, because I do interviews with people, I'll do blogs and, anyone that wants to talk to me, I'm cool with it, as long as I know that what you're doing is constructive. So I do my research. Anyone who comes to me and says, hey, we'd like to interview for, the Bird magazine or whatever, sure. Let me do a little research to see what your content is about. Then I can just make an informed decision whether if I want to do it or not. I know what you're about. I've seen your stuff. So I like what you do. I like the fact that you are an advocate for people who have disabilities. To me, I don't care if your video is polished or not. You know what I'm saying? Unless I plan on buying you a new camera or whatever, I don't give a damn. It don't matter to me. What I care about is what are we talking about? What can we say? What can I say that can be a benefit to somebody else or that can help somebody else along the way? What can be said that can help, take your show where you want it to go? That's all that really matters to me. I see your title belts back there. Cool. I like wrestling, so people like that, you just tell them to kick rocks.
No,
that's
absolutely.
Kick rocks.
Now, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But wrapping up, how can people follow you on social media? And when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction? And how do you feel now? And would you recommend it?
I feel the same. When you reached out to me to interview, I was like, cool. This guy checked out my stuff and wants to interview me. I'll gladly do it. I looked and saw what you're about. I'm all about that. So I still feel the same. I'm glad to do it. I was happy when you approached me, and I'm happy to do it. My battery's going to die too, so if it cuts off, I didn't end the session. No, I feel the same, man. You're a great stand-up dude. Of course, I'd recommend it. I'd have no problem recommending anyone doing your show because I like your cause and I like what you do.
I appreciate that. I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But how can people follow you? You're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Yeah. Facebook is facebook.com/Eli.Harris2, the number 2. Instagram is Mr. Eli Harris. My Twitter is Mr. Eli Harris as well. I don't use my Twitter that much, but or it's Mr. Eli Harris, I believe. It's either that or just Eli Harris, because I don't really use my Twitter that much. But those are the 2 social media platforms you can find me on the most is Facebook and Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. And the same thing with LinkedIn. It's just Eli Harris.
All right. Now, wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and I look forward to part 2 as well.